Now, more of Hugh Hewitt on News Talk 660, WORL.
44 minutes after the hour, Americans. Hugh Hewitt broadcasting from Washington, D.C. tonight from the Heritage Foundation, heritage.org. So pleased to welcome in now to the studio with me John Hanlon, one of Town Hall's own. John is the director of all wizardry within townhall.com. John, what is your official title at townhall.com?
I'm the operations manager there.
And that means you get our websites up and running.
I try to.
And whenever anything's wrong, we turn to you and we scream at you. It's all your fault when it doesn't go right, right?
Most of the time, yeah.
You are a remarkably resilient and effective. I just want to tell the world, Town Hall works because John Hanlon works, and we very much appreciate it, John.
Well, I appreciate that.
And your second life, you're a movie critic. First of all, tell people when you started doing this.
I started doing movie criticism about 2 years ago for Big Hollywood. I knew Guy Benson had started writing for them, and so I contacted him about it, and I just started writing about movie reviews. And then I've just built on from there. I've done interviews, television reviews, etc. since then. And
you're very good at it. Is it a childhood passion? I mean, have you always been a movie guy?
Yeah, I've definitely always been a movie guy.
And so talk to people about JohnHanlonReviews.com. What will they see there before we go talk about For Greater Glory?
Well, I launched my own site, JohnHanlonReviews.com, earlier this year. And so I post all my movie reviews there, all my interviews, and then I help do a podcast, and so I link to that as well.
And so you're supposed to be running Town Hall. How do you have time to go see movies?
I see them after work.
Okay. Now, For Greater Glory is a movie that's all over my website, so they must obviously be targeting center-right, evangelicals, people who go to movies. That's all stuff. What is it about? Who made it? And is it a good film?
Oh, first of all, it's a great film. What it's about is the Cristeros War. In the early 20th century, the Mexican government had a war against Christians. And so what they did is they illegalized ringing of church bells, church services, priestly garments, and they went after priests, etc., because the government thought that the Catholic Church was getting too much power. And so what the movie is about is a group of Christians decide to fight against the government and for religious freedom. So they recruit an atheistic general, played by Andy Garcia, to lead the battle against the government.
And it's a good film.
It's a very good film.
All right. Now, what's interesting to me over at John Hanlon Reviews, you can find interviews that you conducted with the director, Dean Wright, and with Andy Garcia. So how did you get those interviews? I mean, you are a relatively young movie critic. You haven't only been doing this for 2 years. How does that happen?
Well, I write for a couple of sites, Big Hollywood and Pathos.com, so they invited me to California, where they did a press junket where a lot of movie critics get to talk to the people who helped make the movie, including the actors in it, the director, etc. And so I got to talk to Andy Garcia, Dean Wright, there's a little kid in the movie, Mauricio Curry. We got to talk to him. So it was really interesting because they all had a different perspective going into the movie. And
were they doing the in and outs? Were they doing roundtables, or were they running you through? You got 10 minutes with Andy Garcia, 10 minutes with Dean Wright. What were they doing?
It was mostly roundtables. So you have one actor come in, maybe like 10 people around the table, and you just ask different questions of them about the movie.
And so how did that go? How did that feel to you? I used to do that in the old days for PBS, and it got old in a hurry, but maybe they've changed their ability or their willingness to actually answer questions. I remember a memorable blow-up with Ben, who did something about Mary. Ben, what's his last?
Stiller?
Ben Stiller, yeah. Oh. He and I had a memorable mix-up because he was just not answering questions, and he was being a joker. What about these?
They were great, and the actors are really honest about their experiences. What was really interesting is Andy Garcia comes from Cuba, and so his family left Cuba a few years after Castro took power. So Garcia is often asked about religious freedom in Cuba versus religious freedom in Mexico. And so he's very open about the fact that he has seen religious freedom being taken away personally. And that's why this is kind of a passion project for him. And so it was really great to hear about their experiences. There are a couple of Mexican actors in the movie as well, and they talked about how they never heard the story beforehand.
I've never heard this. I know that they were anti-clerical in Mexico, but I didn't realize they waged a battle. Is it a true story about hiring the general and all that kind of stuff?
Yes.
Okay.
It's all based on actual events.
All right. Now, given that they brought you and other bloggers, who else was in the room with you, if I may ask? Who else did they bring out on a junket like this?
In terms of bloggers?
Yeah. Do you remember who you were sitting in the room with and talking with Garcia?
Well, they brought in someone from RealClearReligion.com.
Okay, very interesting.
and they brought in some people from, I think, the Catholic Digest, because they're trying to appeal to a lot of Christians in the Catholic religion, and so they brought in a lot of people from organizations like that.
Okay, and so do you think it's because of JohnHanlonReviews.com, because of Pathos, or because of Big Hollywood that they found you and tapped you to do this?
I think it was a mix of Big Hollywood and Pathos.
All right, tell people about Pathos. I didn't know you were writing reviews for Tim Dalrymple, or whoever you're writing reviews for over there.
Yeah, Tim and Rebecca Cusey's over there.
Okay.
And I just help out. Rebecca Cusey's the main movie critic there. But they just launched a movie club, and I usually fill in for Rebecca when she misses a movie, so she couldn't make it to the junket, so she asked me to fill in.
Oh, that's very cool.
Mm-hmm. And Pathos is kind of like a conversation on faith, so there are different sections for different religions, but then they have this whole movie section, and this week they're highlighting For Greater Glory, because no matter what religion you're in, you will find something to enjoy about this movie.
So you're a total self-made movie critic. What I think is most fascinating about John Hanlon is you took a passion without any credentialing, and you made yourself a movie critic who is now credentialed. And I say that because anyone can write a blog post, but not everyone flies out to Hollywood to do a junket. So that's a big jump. And so are you where you expected to be in new media terms?
Yeah, I mean, I'm really thankful for where I am. Because, yeah, you're right. I didn't start out with credentials. You just have to start. Originally, I just went to the movies on the weekends and just wrote a blog post here and there. And then after a while, I got into a critics association, and I built it from there. So I'm really thankful that I've gone this far in only a couple of years.
How is the traffic at JohnHanlonReviews.com?
It's going okay. I mean, it just started in January, but so far it's going really well. So.
All right, now tell people, and be honest, how much time does your hobby, now quasi-passion, soon perhaps to be full-time profession, I don't want you to leave town hall. You can't leave town hall. How much time do you invest in it now?
A lot of time. Usually after work, I head off to a movie, maybe do a movie review that night, and then I usually dedicate my weekends to it.
That is remarkable. I'm talking tomorrow with David McFadden, the producer of Bernie. Have you seen Bernie yet?
I haven't. Is it good?
It's terrific. It is such a good movie, and it is so different from anything that you've seen. So are now people pulling at you? Are producers and PR people sending you DVDs and all that kind of stuff?
Somewhat, yeah. So I'm getting my name out there, so it's getting really exciting.
John Hanlon of JohnHanlonReviews.com. Thank you. The movie For Greater Glory in theaters everywhere this weekend.
Yes.
How do you rank them? Do you give them like 5 stars or anything like that?
Yeah, so up to 5 stars. So I would give For Greater Glory 4 out of 5 stars.
4 out of 5 stars. I'll be right back, America, to wrap up today's Hugh Hewitt Show.